Hello, I'm Mark Lund, the writer and director of the science fiction film First Signal. And I'd like to welcome you to the American Heritage Museum in Hudson, Massachusetts, where today I interview one of the stars of the film, Wendy Hartman, who played President Helen Colton. Wendy, welcome.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good, Wendy. How are you?
Great to be here.
Okay, good. So, Wendy, let's start at the first day of filming. Okay, we filmed that hallway scene, which also was a post-credit scene, split in two.
Right.
Now, tell us, what was like for you on the first day of set?
Well, having gotten cast in this at the last minute, the actress you had playing the president had dropped out. Mm-hmm. And you had cast me, I think it was 6 days prior to filming that hallway scene.
6 days, yes.
And I believe there were 4 lines. And I
Yes,
was going through a very stressful time in my life, mm-hmm. and I could not even register the 4 lines. It was so frustrating for me. I almost called you. I remember almost calling you the day after you cast me from the gym just to say, you know what, I'm panicked. I can't do this. It's overwhelming to take on a leading role in a feature film.
Yep.
And even though I only had 4 lines.
Playing the President of the United States.
Playing the President.
Yeah,
well,
right.
that part worked out well. But even though I only had 4 lines, I just couldn't register them. It was so frustrating to me. And then after that, I don't think we filmed for another 3 weeks. So I had a little more time.
You did.
But on that first day, I remember showing up to set, and I'd never worked with you before, and I couldn't, one of the lines just disappeared from my head. It just flew out of my head. And I remember panicking, and I think I swore, and I think I yelled cut. And I thought, you were going to think, who is this woman, and what have I done? Right? You can't go back now, it's too late. So, yeah,
but you
that
did,
was my
though.
first day. So then I plowed through it, and
Yeah.
then after that, I just took it one day at a time.
When you watch that scene now, because you were at the world premiere on Friday, do you remember what you were going through those few days beforehand?
I do, especially that particular scene, because it was the first day of filming. I remember how panicked and overwhelmed I was with the whole thing. Yeah.
And you had worked, I don't know if you worked with Stephanie Eaton before, but you
Yes.
had worked with her before.
I had, yeah.
Oh, and you worked with David Affleck too, who
Yes.
also was Secret Service. So you did know some of the actors
Yes,
beforehand.
which was very helpful.
Which must have been helpful. But needless to say, as audiences know, you nailed those 4 lines and did them beautifully. Now, in First Signal, you did play the President of the United States, Helen Colton. How did you prepare for this role? Did you look at any old films? Did you look at any past historical figures to base your emotional position on it? How did you prepare for the role?
In the limited time I had between the time I was cast and the filming beginning, I think you actually recommended to me to look at Taya Leone in Madam Secretary.
Yes.
And I did, and what I loved about her character is that she wasn't a lifelong politician. She was a professor. She was the smartest person in the room. She was confident, and when she was thrust into the position of Secretary of State, she, not being a politician, she wasn't concerned with, pomp and circumstance and being perfectly coiffed for her television appearances and worried about polls and her next election. And she genuinely wanted to make an impact on the people. And so much so when they offered her a stylist so that she could improve her television appearance look, she refused. And there was a dinner, I think, for different leaders of different nations that she didn't see a point to having the dinner. And she said, let's take the funds for that dinner and just give it to this worthy cause over here. And she just came across so genuine. And I didn't want that stereotypical political person with an ego and arrogance about them who was out for themselves as much as they were maybe for the people that they represented. I really just wanted to come across genuine and natural.
Well, it certainly worked, because the way you portrayed the president was extremely natural. It was just very matter of fact. It's like, I'm the president, I've got a busy schedule here at the G7, and now I have to deal with this meeting with Rieger, and there it was. What would you say was the most challenging aspect of playing President Colton, and how did you overcome it? Was there anything in particular when you read the script, saw what you were going to get into, where you said to yourself, well, this could be challenging, or when you were actually filming it, you realized, oh, this part's going to be challenging, and maybe how did you?
I think overall for me, the cast was cast a year in advance. You had table readings and wardrobe fittings, and everyone had been working together for so long, and coming in at the last minute, my biggest challenge was getting over that feeling of being overwhelmed, intimidated, panicking, really.
Sure.
And one way to overcome that was to focus on, I would stay in the hotel up the street from filming every weekend that we shot, so I could really not have any distractions and really focus on the character as much as I could. And the other thing that helped me that's really unusual for filming a feature-length film is that you filmed it chronologically. and you were able to do that with the script.
Yes, which was great.
And for me, I needed to take the script. I couldn't take it on the entire script and process it.
Yeah.
So I was able to take it as it unfolded in real life, in order, 1 minute, 1 day, 1 week, one scene at a time. So that was very helpful to me as well to help overcome that. And then you had a very stress-free environment on set that lent itself to really having all of your focus on what you're doing, on your character.
Yeah, and we can talk about how you came into the film. We had another actress that we had brought into the film about a year before we were going to film, who abruptly just left the film for very strange reasons. Very strange, which I won't go into here now. Well, I'll just mention it because maybe it'll be an interesting little side note. That wouldn't be able to maintain their person's hair over the course of the production.
Ah.
And, but putting that aside, you came in, you had auditioned earlier for something, then you came in again. And what I saw was commitment, commitment, commitment. Because I've seen you in a variety of other things over the years. I know how dedicated you are when you commit yourself to a project. And I remember you telling me, you're like, oh, geez, Mark, this is the starring role, the president, 10 days notice. I know it's just 4 lines, God help me, and now you want to throw me into this thing. But I just knew from your reputation as an actress, if anyone could do it, it'd be you. And then I saw something in you during your audition where you're just very matter-of-fact about it. You're like, you know, I'm here to audition. You do lots of auditions, but you were very matter-of-fact about it, and that's what I wanted for this character. So, I mean...
And I think for an actor,
Yeah.
it's a great example of, I auditioned a year earlier for the National Security Advisor role, didn't get it. And as an actor, you know, you get that rejection and you have no idea why or what happened. And then a year later, I saw that you were recasting the president role, and I auditioned for that and got that. And I had such a great experience. It was like it was meant to be. So it's just a great note to say, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
things don't happen, but they don't happen for a reason.
Exactly, exactly.
And it works out. It can work out great. So.
Well, because we had planned to film First Signal in 2018, and a variety of things with some scheduling, some casting, some locations. You know, we also moved a new actor into the role of General John Rieger too, and Cedric Yona. They were cast. You know, they had more than 10 days notice.
Yep.
But so in the end, it was watching all of you play so well off each other. Because again, you had worked with Stephanie on something. I think, had you worked with Paul? No.
Gosh, I don't.
You knew Paul,
Yeah,
of course.
I did, but I don't think I don't think I
yeah.
have worked with him. Yeah.
Yeah. But some things, what's the phrase? Good things come to those who wait. Or
Yeah.
I think that's the phrase, and
Yeah.
it actually worked
Something like
out.
that.